Kim here with Sunshine Creations and Crafts, and it is Watercolor Wednesday. Now for today's project, I am going to be using the Pearl X name brand powdered pigments. And I've had these for a really long time, and I think I've used them a couple times as well, but not often. Now, I did some research on YouTube, and I found that most of the people who used the pigment inks, what they would do is they would use the Versamark and put it on their stamp, and then put it on black paper, and stamp it, heat emboss it with, embossing powder, and then go in with their Pearl X and paint it. But I was curious if it would work with glitter. So I did, let me put this over here, a little bit of one before I started the video, and it actually does. But you don't use the Versamark. You're going to use something else, and I'll show you what it is in a second. So we're going to kind of go forward and then backwards here for a second. So this is something I bought at a scrapbook expo a while ago. It's called Microfine Glitter, and this is from Glitteritz. And all you do with your pigment powder is, I'm just using an acrylic block. I guess you could probably use a craft mat as well. You want to get it a little bit wet, as well as your paintbrush. This is what works for me, and I've seen different ways of doing it. You kind of just want to make your color here like this. And depending on how bright you want it is how much pigment powder you would add. Now, here's something interesting, don't you think? This is pink, and when I put it on the black, it looks purple. So that's something you have to take into consideration. You might want to do a little test on a separate piece of paper before to see what the colors are based on what the cardstock base is. So that's really all you do, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now this has got some intricate spaces to it, so you might want to find a stamp that doesn't have those intricate, and I'm not going to finish this whole thing. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on that black cardstock, because we're going to do opposite here in a minute. The set I got for the pigment ink, I got it at Michael's. And I saw you could buy it online as well if you're wanting bigger jars. That's how you do it. You just go in and color it, or paint it actually. Okay, so I'll go in and finish the rest of that, but I did want to show you. Isn't that gorgeous? Just absolutely beautiful. Okay, here comes the experimenting part. This is a glue pad. No heat required. I got this at Michael's, and it came with the glue refill in the package. Now, I've already re-glued it so that I could do that first one. But basically all you do is just take your refill and you give it a squirt. You might want to wet your fingertip a little bit and just move it around the pad. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our heart. I'm going to tip it up this way. And it's just like inking it. And you'll hear it is kind of sticky, obviously, because it's glue. And I want to get all inside all those little intricate places. Okay, and then make sure that that little plastic piece is back on there, because you don't want that to dry out. And this time I'm going to put it on white cardstock. And I'm going to see what the difference is in the colors. I'm going to push it down, but I'm also going to flip it over. I used my brayer last time, and it worked out. Just kind of feeling where the stamp is to make sure. I'm covering the whole thing. Okay, now when I put this over it, you're not going to be able to see the glue. But as soon as I put the glitter on, you will. I'm just going to use this Martha Stewart. It's a fine glitter as well. Lay a piece of scratch paper under here. And in this case, it's not a little dabble, do ya? You want to go ahead and get that on there good. Now what I did as well is after I got the glitter on, I just took my finger and kind of pushed on it a little bit. Made sure that it got in all those little spaces. I don't know what regular glitter would do. This is fine. This is the fine glitter. Okay, we have one spot right there that I may not have got enough glue on, or I may not have got enough glitter. I'm trying here. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to take my brush. It's not like embossing powder, where if you heat it, you know, it'll stick to it. This is just, you know, glitter. So this is a big brush. I just had this handy. Now I am, however, even though it's not embossing powder, I'm going to go ahead and put my heat gun on it just for a couple seconds. Okay, so far I think it's beautiful. Let's go ahead and see what our pigment ink looks like on the white versus the black. Now I'm thinking this is going to be more true to color. Yeah. You know, it's like anytime you're mixing your colors, if you start out with a blue and you add red, it's going to change the color of the blue because of the red. And that is the same way as having a black card base and putting pink on it, then it's purple. Now what I do is I just use my mister and give it a little squirt. And then just go in and make sure that was a little bit too clumpy. That was my fault. See if I can just move that around there. Now this would be very, very pretty on a card. What I was thinking about doing was, in this case, you might want to do a pink card base and trace the stamp heart and cut it out just so that it's a tad bigger, like a ½ inch bigger, the traced heart, in maybe a white, and then put this on top of that. How beautiful is this? Now I'm wondering if I can go in with some green right around there. Let's try it. I'm using a very tiny paintbrush. See if I can find another one like that. I guess we'll have to do with this one. Let's find a green here. Some of these, like I said, I haven't even used them yet. Okay, let's put that down there. I had done a really pretty make and take is what they called it at my scrapbooking place. I had done a tag using this, and that's when I ended up buying it. They suckered me into it, huh? So I'm going to put a little bit more in here because I want that green to really pop out. Yeah, so you can just go, I mean, for this stamp, you can do it with flowers. You know, do the... Now what I am noticing is the shimmer of this isn't quite as obvious on the white cardstock as it is the black. And I really don't need to sit here and paint this whole thing, but what my plan is, and I'll I'll try to get it done today, is I'm going to cut along the lines here and put that on top of a larger a larger heart, and then put it on a card. So yeah, so that it works with the glitter. You don't necessarily have to have embossing powder to do this. All right, well, thanks all for joining me for Watercolor Wednesday, and have a great day.